Well, and what and what. Welcome to another Feel Good Friday. This week's episode will be about heart combo. So basically question popped into my head this week. Look, if you could have a conversation with anybody, whether it be past or future, um dead or alive, famous, not famous, fictional or real, like who would that be? Um so that was that. But for a second, hold on, because I need to. I haven't got found my way around this yet. I think it's under this. Yeah, it is. Hold on. Let's drop the intro real quick though. So yeah, um, but before I even get into that, just like I don't even business. Like I've been banging, as you'll see up in the comments, you'll see like, well, my top seven DMX tunes them. So I just want to say definitely a rest in power to man like DMX who made transition today after a long fight. Um, right, so the lighter decided it's not working. Where's the other one? I like a grandma in it. So burn some Palo Santo. Salute to DMX. Earl Simmons made transition today. Salute to the ancestors in the realm of the ancestors. Man had a good heart still in a lot of ways. Went through a lot. And we know how it go. And I'm sure for some of you that will watch this, I'm sure for many, he soundtrack to our lives business and whatever he had going on. I didn't hear of him being like horrible as such to women or like being on some weirdo stuff with like young girls and that. So fingers crossed. And I'm just hoping, like I tweeted out somewhere, I said, yeah, I hope Baba Malcolm X just welcomes him, and that way, peace, AZ. Just wanted to say shout out to AZ on their travels at the moment. Hopefully see you next week, sis. Yeah, I just wanted to ask Baba Malcolm X to welcome DMX, and hopefully he and the him, so Malcolm X, DMX, and Extentacion have a conversation, and hopefully they can chop it up and just blend that energy. You get what I'm saying? Um, I don't normally I don't advocate drinking. I'm not advertising for nobody, but pouring out a little something still for that brother there, because as you know, I'm a hip hop girl to the death of my soul. Spill that drop there. So it's at the fast cast. All right. So let's get it started then. So who would you like to have a conversation with and why? For me, I chose well, I had three people. First one being my grandma. Why? Just to get a better understanding of navigating through life in her 40s, because I just turned 43 the other day, and just that transition into that midlife, and just to get her insights on that will be really amazing, to be fair. And just especially coming from somewhere that was colonized, the passing of Philip of Greece today also, and what her thoughts would be about that, and just how would she feel about it. So I'd be interested to talk to Nanny, but like I carry her in my essence, so that's going to be answered either way. Do you get what I'm saying? And the second person that I'd like to think about is Sun Tzu, the person that was, what's the word? Um, don't tell me the one cap full of white rum licked me already. No, it's not that. Not gifted. Like the person that was said to have written The Art of War, basically. That's definitely somebody that I'd like to speak to. Just for the way that warfare, which is something that's quite chaotic, and how he was able to put together, like take, like to basically distill war into these quite salient points that even in times not of war, they're just like really good sort of little things to live by. I've read an abridged version and I've seen quotes from it, so I don't want to sort of waste time going into like long drawn out details because it is really about conversations of the heart and why. And so for him it'd be just like, why I'd like to speak to him is because I'd love to ask him like, how do you keep your head calm enough during war to be able to draw out the distilled points? And the third person that I'd love to have a conversation with and why is Yaya Santawa from Ghana. Um, she was, this word is escaping me, and I don't know if it's Rainey's nephew or I don't know what that's about, but we move. Um, like she was attributed or she was connected to the, believe it's the War of the Golden Stool. Again, the whole colonizer theme, which is very interesting. Um, just she stood up like when people were scared to, and just to hear her thoughts, like what made you, like what was it that made you stand out and speak up, and what was you feeling in that moment, and many other things. I'd love to have a conversation with her. So that's my three. What's your three? Drop your three in the comments below. Um, Also, I've dropped my favorite sort of top 7 DMX tracks in the comments. Drop yours in there if you're a hip hop head, or just because my niece actually sent me not long ago. I believe it was last year. She sent me X, go and give it to you, go and give it to you. Like, and I was just like, huh? How you know this? Like, she sent me a little video with her doing her what do them the young people do, the lip syncing to it, and I was just like, yeah. And she was getting her whole life banging in the car. I was like, okay, it runs in the blood. It runs in the blood. Listen, yeah, give me a minute. I need to get some water because I'm telling you, that cap full of rain, I haven't drank for ages. I didn't even drink on my birthday. Mm. This year I've had a bottle of Guinness, and that's it for the whole year so far. Um, and before that, I can't tell you the last time I had liquor. I think it was when somebody else died to say good night to them. But apart from that, yeah, like your girl went from somebody that used to like the sauce, very aromable, to now just like kind of ancestral thing. And it's because I had to give up smoking, so I don't enjoy alcohol without my okie doke smokes. So we won't be doing that. But feel good Friday, I can still kick up and make mischief. And incredibly cheap date. But yeah, what time drunk, but time no fool. Because Mercury and Venus, yeah, and Mars. Because we're in Aries season, so don't ramp with me. Yeah, boom. So that would be who I'd have the conversation with: my grandmother, Sun Tzu, and Yaya Santawa. Three like really, I think, amazing warriors. I think both my grandma and Yaya Santewa, I see that being feminine and having that warrior spirit, but delivering it in a feminine way and having to just make that bang, because, and I see the parallels of even in present time having to fight, but the levels and the layers. I won't go too deep into it right now because it is Feel Good Friday after all. Um, another conversation or another question that I had was hmm if you as a person, like, say like how I've just said, okay, boom, those three people like are people that I'd like to sit and have a conversation with, and you probably have yours. If you have somebody, drop it in the comment section because I'd like to have a look still. um but what about if you came up in somebody's list of like heart convo, what would you say? Like really and truly, like somebody said, yeah, I'd love to have a conversation with, you get what I'm saying? Like, do you know what you would say? Or would you be like that guest or that like, what would you say? That was just another random question that come into my mind. You get what I mean? So there's something to think about, and it like it's just the musings of my mind. And then another question that I had was, if you could have a conversation with yourself right now, what would that be like? And it's quite funny because that's a kind of essentially what I'm doing. Um, is having that conversation with self and just extending the invitation to whoever feels like joining in. Um, what would that be like? So just a quick recap for the viewers that have just joined. We're talking about people that you'd like to have a conversation with, and why. It could be somebody that is from the past, present, alive, dead, fictional, real, whatever, whatever, whatever. Who would you like to have a conversation with, and why would you like to have a conversation with them? Yeah. And like, what would you say to them differently? Like, because I'm curious, what would you actually say to them? What would you ask them? Um, it's just something. These are the thoughts that run around my head. So then, following on from that, the next question was, if you was the person. Hold on a second. Pause. Greetings, Queen. Joined by the beautiful Ali Akwe. Yo, how you doing, sis? You okay?
Fine, thanks. You?
Yeah, man, I'm okay. I'm okay. Good to see you. Just quick catch up. Did a little I poured out a drop of rum and had a sups of rum for DMX, and I'm feeling a little bit wavy, like because man I ain't drank since from before Christmas, and well I had one bottle of Guinness in January. That's it, like just cheap date business now, and and I dropped my top seven favorite DMX tunes in the comments, like to just say RIP, like. Have you got a favorite DMX tune?
No, I'm not. I know the name, but not the legend. So,
You know what? It's probably one of them where you probably like you go, oh, this one, oh, that one. I've dropped a couple in the comment section, and that's you can check them out like
I,
at
I
whatever
will.
time at your leisure. And then so going into the question, first of all, is there anything you just want to say? Just like jumping in first. I've just been rabbiting on.
No, it's fine. Who's the conversation that you'd have?
Oh, I said, oh, thank you. I said, my grandmother, Sun Tzu, and yeah, Santewa. And how about you? But that's probably a good place to start. Like, who would you have a conversation with, and why?
What's it called? So I made a note when you sent it to me, and it's
Mm-hmm.
the first thought that came to mind. The most important would be like yourself, ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
What's it called? Um, so what was the main thing I put down here? So this morning I would speak to elders who have passed,
Mm-hmm.
those that spoke the whole truth about themselves, relatives, the polygamous. relationships and, multiple wives and picking in one compound, village life, where they travel to, traditions, and who actually ruled the home and the village in terms of oral history. That's always been the main thing for decades. It's been important to me. So I think the main one will be. I mean, there's main ones that have passed, but I think for the sake of our future kin, it would be what's it called? Ancestors that have passed.
Awesome.
Hmm.
Awesome. It makes sense, and it because it's like they just have got so much wisdom to bring, like, an experience. So it makes sense. All right. So then the next question that I kind of had was so like how we had people in our who, like, I call them heart convos, like, because it's somebody you'd love to speak to. What about if you was the person in somebody else's heart convo? Like, what would you say? That's kind of where I kind of got to. I was getting to
Heart convo. What's a heart convo? A
because
conversation from the heart.
yeah, because basically,
Okay.
when you say like, oh, who's somebody that you'd love to speak with? So love, heart, conversation, convo, speak.
Sorry,
So just
you're very clear. It's just that I'm very tired, so you can probably
hush,
tell.
hush,
But it's
hush.
I'm a heart convo. Um, no one comes to mind at the
No,
moment.
if no, it's you. Like, so if somebody said, "Oh, I'd love to speak," if somebody said, "Who would you love to have a conversation with and why?" And somebody said, "Yeah, I'd love to have a conversation with Ali Akwe." What would you say to that person?
Depends what they'd want to know.
Okay.
It really would. What would they like to discuss? I can't. I can't answer that. It just depends what the person wants to know.
Yeah,
What are they where they're coming from, basically. Yeah, I don't know how to answer that one really.
that's all right. Okay. And then, because I was thinking along them lines, my brain always goes off on mad tangents, right? I was
Same as me.
thinking, ah,
Same as me.
I was thinking, if you was to have that kind of heart combo with yourself, what would that be like right now? Because I was thinking, like, I'll give you time to think, so I'll wrap it on a little bit. I was thinking it'd be definitely really mindfully taking the time to ask myself, like, what do I need? Like, asking myself about possible solutions that I might see, like being able to kind of step back a little bit, because I feel like sometimes when you're in the forest, like, that phrase, you can't see the wood for the trees. um Sometimes being able to step back, and I actually do this to try and straighten things out in my brain anyway. Sometimes I have to step back and say, well, okay, well, what do you need? Like, I did an ikigai on myself the other day and things like that, to try and get things in a bit of more of a straight line, instead of the where's Toto? You get what I'm saying? So that's what the conversation would be like. Quite tender. I think it would be quite like like a bear protective parent kind of conversation. Like, okay, I can see you dealing with this, and sometimes frustrated, but also just like very kind, very empathic, I think is the word, even though some people say empathetic, and it's one of my pet peeves.
I think it's well, for me, so what would the conversation with myself be like right now? Well, going at this point in time is the main theme is just doing anything to protect my peace.
Mm,
That's the main thing, because there's a lot of what's it called? There's a lot of people outside my close circle and environment, local environment, that are disturbing my peace, literally, which is equaled in my family's peace, which is just resulting in this. lack of sleep. So
Yeah,
I
no.
think we'll keep it there, and I think a lot of people go through the same thing, and it's that the main conversation is you that empathy. Draw a line under the empathy. Once the to protect that peace, if you cross a line, we're going to have to get legal.
I want
That's
to
it.
I want to speak with you like offline about that. To be fair, because
Yeah,
yeah,
it's been dealt with,
all
and
right.
what's it called? Yeah, it's been dealt with, and this is to do with basically. I think a lot of people are going through a lot of things, but there's one thing, like with anything, you can protect. So that you can the conversation I'm having, but it's where you it's literally about that protect the peace, but how do you go about that within the law while you know so it's I think it's and being mindful, but there's
Hmm.
you were talking about being empathetic and stuff, but yeah, when it stops when it's only one way.
Yeah, no, and that's the direction I'm talking about. The empathy
Yeah,
is you directed to you
yeah,
first, first,
true.
first. Gotta be, gotta be,
Yeah,
because yeah, especially when we're the givers and when we do the empathy for everyone and their position and what they're going through. But it's like you said, that one way traffic causes traffic jams, Rasta.
yeah. And just to be clear with people, because on the one hand, some things need to be remain private, but when you're pushed to make it clear without elaborating, we're talking about let's just say neighborhood. That's the
Sanctuary,
context.
sanctuary disturbance.
We're talking
Trust
about
me, mommy, trust me. I know about
so let's
that.
it's talking about context before people people will jump to, even when you state it clearly,
Mm.
people will jump to whatever confirmation bias or things that aren't related. This I'm talking about is literally pre-COVID, COVID, but we'll go on behavioral patterns, and we're talking about neighborhood outside of blood.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's,
See,
that is it. And I think because let's just say pre-lockdown, but then lockdown situation has escalated a lot of people's issues, and let's just say f with me, do not understand what is coming.
everybody's on a short fuse because we've been robbed raw prior to lockdown. So it's like we all experience. I don't think people grasp that concept. It's like the lockdown that Uno did experience. We did experience it too, with all the things that was exacerbated for us throughout that, and we've been riding it through with good grace. But cinco años, yeah. And what did the five fingers say to the hand, the face?
For fact, it's so the thing is it's very it's that is it, with good grace. And we're not talking about the people, it's involuntary. So many people are going through so much, whether
Yeah.
it's loss, whether it's loss of past people, loss of living people, the pressures and the challenges. I'm talking specifically about people who have no remorse in their behavior, and they project their issues and take kindness for weakness, and
Especially when you.
and no one does anything. Sorry, no one does anything. And then when that good grace runs out, you're going to pretend no, no, no. When there's so many people involved, and if you do nothing, it will carry on. We're not, you and me, the people watching, the ones who want to keep their good grace, their dignity. and ride through it together, unified, help each other, community minded, who are truly there, irrespective of skin and gender and situation, really want to help each other. There's others who want to rip that apart, and they've got their own issues and don't want to find help. So perfectly put, good graces, but yeah, it only lasts so long. That's it. Thankfully, I know people, so it will get sorted out.
You have to understand. Well, to sum it up, my grandma. Well, it's an old phrase, but I heard from my grandma. If every day you draw a bucket go a well, one day the bottom must drop out. Yeah, everybody has limits, and don't take good graces to mean that it's just a free for all. Because we're somebody's child, and I always think that equal. See, that's one of the things. Conversations with my grandma. Um, she'd say kill them with kindness, and sometimes that's the case, but sometimes it's just the kill them part that is right. It's like for as good and as kind and as gracious as we can demonstrate and be, just understand that's exactly how dog-hearted and savage we can be. And that grace, yeah, that grace, understand that grace is the harness for the savagery. So don't make the grace break. That would be very, very, very silly and insalubrious and not good for anybody.
The thing is, for me, there's everyone's got their different ways of dealing with things. The whole point is that me and mine will retain. We can see the trajectory of where this is ending way before it
Yeah,
happened.
yeah.
So it's continuing that just make sure we continue to avoid that destination. I would do everything in my power, well, we will, to avoid that destination where people just want to, that someone just hijacks a train like speed and it's on a run. No, no. Well, it's not going to be a runaway thing. Yeah,
It
the good
can't be.
the good will survive, but I'm not. That would never be my portion or destination where people want to, because they want to take it out and scapegoat. No, no, at all. And lots of people are going through this as well, but no. So my advice and my conversation with myself, and people that know me know, there's others you just want to stay. What you were talking about a few episodes ago on Feel Good Friday was, I think you're saying, like, keeping self small and stuff like that, but you can't really when people keep kind of provoking your shell and stuff. You can stay away from it. So, but yeah,
Don't draw away, don't mix with and don't draw away because don't the girl who kicked the hornet's nest kind of vibe, don't trouble the wasp nest. That's why I put the thing on the ticket because I put the questions in my mind. I had them and I put them in the ticket and you was just answering them just whop, whop, whop. That's,
so
I'm not
there's a
laughing.
phrase. It's weird. I'm being very careful with what I say because
Mm,
it's people know when you're in the situation, you just honestly considering all angles and the best for the provoker. There's the hornet's nest and there's the person that kicked it, but still, we're the wasps trying to protect, even thinking of the person who's kicking the hornet's nest. We're the wasp there, like, do you want to do that? If you do it again, okay, you did it again and you keep doing it, okay, you're going to get bus up. So why are you there crying when you get stung by an army? That's all. So for me, it's just like, So the conversation, the advice I would give myself is maintain that level head,
Mm-hmm.
rest as much as
Mm.
possible, more naps. I always say keep things manageable. That's what we're doing, you know. And apologies to you for being late to this, but it's like, yeah, fam first, and it's just I'll always reach for this where possible, because it's like it makes me literally feel good because it's dissipating. They're not
Oh,
important, but I
awesome.
think it's good to talk about important things with everything that's going on. But yeah, that's the advice: maintain. Do not do not sink to that level, but think smart and think
Mhm.
way ahead. Think smart and keep your level head. That is all. Don't get drawn like a goosey is what I like to say, or native stew.
I like it.
That's that's not mine. Don't credit me, but it's like
I like
don't
it.
just don't get drawn.
Mhm.
That is it.
Mhm.
And what about yourself? Advice that you need to hear for yourself?
For me, it's keep consistent, keep a cool head, count to 10. I like to play my solfeggios, 417 hertz for clear negative energy, 432 hertz and 528 hertz for healing. Um, and breathe, breathe. Remember to breathe, especially, yeah, breathing and just lungs and all of that is just so valuable right now because from there's breath, there's life. You understand? So there's that, and don't react. Well, I don't do histrionics to be honest. Like I just don't see the point in histrionics. Keep a cool head, and it's kind of harking back to last week in terms of revenge. Level head it, man, and fix like solution, not resolution, because res like that res part me for me mean repeat. So just solution and it fix it. Like that's where I'm at, and just stay consistent and be patient with yourself. Like be patient with yourself, Nat, while you figure it out because you don't have all the answers. And in terms of you either have to find them or figure them. So it's just a fix it thing. So it's like the hyping thing doesn't do anything for me. Calm, like I call it the serial killer calm. Like what's his name, Dexter. Like I'll be on some Dexter calm sometimes. Like don't get me wrong, I like to be silly and laugh. My yeah, that's my biggest medicine. You see, from you can stay bossing up, fam. Not only on a physiological level, just what it does for you in terms of the chemicals it releases, it's medicinal. And if you can stay laughing, means it hasn't got that bad yet. It hasn't got to the point of where you're not laughing yet. And if it gets to the point of where I'm not laughing, it's one of them, don't take me serious unless I'm serious. Fam. And if I'm serious, you know, like if I'm laughing, I love being able, it's one of the best, even when you're being pushed to your limit, when you can still find the funny in that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot going. It's as you're right. It's so important, but it's. I was thinking about this earlier. That kind of survivor's remorse, because it's
Mm.
a weird thing because as I was saying, lost loved ones that have passed and living, a piece of your heart. It's heavy, but you can't wallow
Yeah.
at all. But at the same time, you're like, if you can't, you feel it's survivor's remorse. If you feel like, you're reading the news, you're hearing about all of this, people passing and stuff, whether you knew them or not, whether you even liked them or not, I'm never going to celebrate anyone passing. But there is survivor's remorse when you're thinking, you're in that moment of, kid making you laugh, husband just being there supporting, and just you can hear them laughing together, or just sharing a meme, what you're talking about, sharing platforms like this.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like guilty for a moment, but then that's exactly the kind of conversation that I need to remind us, things that
Yeah.
you're saying. I need to remind myself of, no, keep grieving, think about them, hope they're at peace still. I say about a bit with my grandmas, my sisters, my sister who passed, all these kind of things, and ancestors. And then, we're hoping for strength for people who I know are needing it right
Mm-hmm.
now. And then also, it's kind of a daily prayer to a higher power that I do. But I kind of, there's time where I'm like, do not, don't even ask for protection. Just give thanks and hope that the ones who need it the most get it. That kind of thing. It's like guilty. Don't ask for protection. Don't ask for any minutes of progress to be gone and all this stuff. It's that's the conversation I need to say. Keep reminding myself. Keep on.
Keep on, yes, because even when it doesn't feel like it, the amount of times that we've been protected from which we know not,
Yeah.
even in
Well,
the moment, that last
well,
minute thought that just goes, you know what, allow them, either for yourself, because you might have done them, or it could be a dangerous thing, or just that thing of, no, I don't really want to go, or yeah, I need to go now. Like, there's so many times, like, it's a thought that even in the challenging times, um, in terms of the survivor's remorse, there's a reason, and let's acquiesce to their wisdom because they left us here as the guardians and the curators of their immortality. So they made a choice to say, you know what? Yeah, man, that one will keep me immortal. I won't die from that one from that one's got me. You understand? So
that
that
lifts me.
good. Very good. That's it. Yeah, man. Let the smile out, man. Let that marinate to the soul. Yeah, but that's definitely what I they left us here to create and just be the keepers of their immortality. And it's painful, man. Like, don't get me wrong, and it's a job and it's a role, and it's one that I guess we just carry it with humility and honor in it. And it's just, we just day by day, just in what we do, what we say, the way we affect people, we call their name literally, and we keep them alive through our movement. And that's something we can do. Trong, trong, trong. Get what I mean? And
Thank you for your
just
wisdom.
you're welcome. I
That
can
helps.
feel you, I feel you. I'd love to get gentlemen. Well, listen, April 21st, actually, 12. It's 2 and 1. I remember 2 and 1. At some point, it's one big quiz. Me, I go quiz you up. You know what I mean? And it'd be one of them because I don't do the church hug pat and done. I don't do fake hugs. It's either I'm gonna spud you, say hello, or I'm giving a proper hug.
That's
That's it.
right. There's no
That's
point otherwise.
Fam, I did theatre studies in college and theatre studies and like drama in school and stuff like. So we had them days where we used to actually like do hugging exercises where you'd literally stand there and hug a person, and then they'd encourage you to hug people that you weren't friends with or that you didn't know. And powerful, man, powerful. So quiz me, I got quiz you up, and I'm very fluffy, so it would be very comfortable and comforting.
You can always what I love about that, hugs are everything, as you say, and that kind of tangible thing, and it's that connection, of course. But listen, I will always remember from young who is I know who cannot. You can tell there's a difference between those who have not been touched enough and those who do not like you. You can
Yeah.
always tell. And it's not projected, but there's a reason why it stays. Now, we're telling you, viewers and listeners, if your heart is clean, if your actions are clean, a hug is a hug and the person will melt into you. You know, whatever they're harboring, whatever resentments they've been carrying or jealousies, is one thing. And if your heart is clean and mind is clean, hold on to them and you will see, and it's a repeat thing. And if a person stays, like there's a phrase, a bundle of wire hug. If they don't
Mm,
want to receive it, listen to that energy and stay away, especially if it's been there from young. Listen, there's when things stay in your mind and don't make sense, listen to them.
yeah.
And the ones that you can tell, especially if you're not projecting anything. Listen, I've learned, and there's when as soon as I get the answer, when they've answered it for me themselves, I remember these things from the timeline from when I was like 6, right through. It didn't make any sense, but now,
Yeah. Even
mm,
more so.
yeah, and that's why you're lighter in spirit. You're lighter in spirit. Like you were saying a long time ago, there's some sociopaths, some good actors and actresses. You and I, what's it called? You went to theatre school, but you can't act. You see, you can't lie. I can't
My,
act.
my
So
face is a
that's what I'm saying.
snitch.
That's it. I'm not comfortable with lying. So
Yeah.
anyone who's comfortable with lying, they betray themselves somehow. Yeah, 'cause whatever senses, memory, and things like that. Because it's like, so that's like you say when you were talking about the uh any ancestors or relatives, just that immortality that they've
Mm.
probably passed that on or messaging through us potentially. So those kind of advice, to go back to your question about, who would we talk to? I think they're already talking through us.
Love it.
You know,
Love
really. So,
it.
you know,
Mm.
you've helped me answer it. They're already, that's not new. They're already talking through us, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
In
Mm-hmm.
that sense, in that continuation of themselves.
Hold on.
What's that?
Hold on. See the two fists?
Ooh,
It's like a
yes.
spud. It's like a spud. That's my granny's bracelet, fam.
I like it.
And she had that on when she came here, man. So it's like, yeah. It's a moving true, moving true. Am I move true? Um, I like to round off by telling the story because when you was talking about the hugs, hold on, say something. 'Cause I couldn't tell if your sound went out just now.
Hi.
Oh yeah, you're all right. Yeah, no. When you was talking about the hugs, I remember one place I used to work with back in the day, and this youth is a younger man for me, and he's like, "You see, if you didn't work here, miss, I'd move to you, you know." And I was just like, "Oh, bless him." Like I'm looking like he's my nephew still, he's taller than me, but nephew vibes. And I said, "Listen," I said, "Boobs," I said, "Stop with the foolishness here." I said, "Hear what here? Let somebody give you a hug that doesn't want anything from you. Just take that." And at first he was being silly and whatever. And I literally held him, and I was standing on, because he was taller than me, I was standing on the curb and he literally stood in the road just like to even out the height. But I felt him literally crumple into the hug. I said, "You see the difference? You know it when you feel it." I said, "That's what it feels like when somebody don't want nothing from you, just sees you for who you are. Know the difference." And that's why I said to do that. You don't need to do all the foolishness like that with me. You get me? Like and it was just a moment, and I don't think he really knew what to do with me because sometimes I like to cut the faces a lot of the time because I ain't got the patience.
That's
But
it.
I think it might have made him feel a bit vulnerable too, which is understandable. But that was just, yeah, the power of a hug, like to see these bricks you like just crumple, like literally. And a lot of people are missing that, and it gets confused for other things. But that's another topic. Or you see the fast car at time at my speed now, me need to just ease up off the accelerator a little bit and put the buckle back in the cupboard for emergencies if we feel like
I think that's a beautiful thing, a beautiful memory and powerful, and I remember it, and I'm sure he will as well, and many people with. It's a beautiful thing to end on.
All right, my darling. And I also, if you got anything coming up that you want to share, follow Aliakwe at Aliakwe underscore hashtag good vibes. Good vibes. Had a lovely show on Monday. I caught you the other show later on in the evening. I was just like, yo, I was just like this. I was like a kid. Just like, oh my god. So if you want to share anything, go right ahead.
No, I just what's it called? Thanks for this,
You're welcome.
and yeah, shared enough. This is enough for me, and it's been lift spirits, and yeah, stay blessed.
Channel. All right, thank you so much. And okay, I've plucked up the courage, yeah, to try and step into this arena a little bit. So if you enjoyed the show, you watched along. If you fancy leaving a tip, you made it this far. You can leave a tip at Cash App /pound sign, or because in the States they say pound is a hashtag, but like sterling sign, Natalie Nurture, basically. All right. So peace. Enjoy your weekend, people. Be gentle and kind to each other and drink water.